What's up, man? Back to the People Radio. Derrick Matthews. I'm here with the homie Dan from Legacy & Co. Jewelers. What's up, bro? How was your day?
Bro? It's awesome so far. Appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
So,
first things first, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your company, some background story, because we don't really have different creatives on this yet. We've only been having like rappers and artists and singers. So now we have a jeweler, and we all know about how important jewelry and fashion is in hip hop. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your business, man?
Sure. So I'm a second generation jeweler. My dad started the business 40 years ago in town, and I just took over 3 years ago and kind of took the younger generation and stepped it up a little bit. So I have my customers from young to old, and we do anything from engagement jewelry to solid gold jewelry to hip hop jewelry. So not quite in the grills yet, because that's a different game. And you were talking about Johnny Dang earlier and stuff. Yeah. He's got it on lock, so let him do it,
Yeah, and it seems like it seems like some things are kind of regional too. I feel like grills are, everyone's able to do them, but it seems like they're really getting pushed out of Texas too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And even the demographic, like, we don't have heavy requests for grills here,
I figured.
Not a lot of people do them anyway. So maybe once every 2 or 3 months we'll get, hey, do you guys do grills,
Like,
because we'll do it. Yeah, because we'll do a custom hip hop piece, and then they want the grills to go along with it. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you said second generation jeweler. So you grew up around this stuff.
I did, yeah.
How long did you said your father was the one that started the business?
Yeah, he moved to the U.S. in the 70s.
Okay.
We're Lebanese background.
Nice.
Yeah. So he did everything from selling light bulbs to insurance to homes to now jewelry. So,
oh man, so it was just like work hard. Was it all work and no play?
Self-made, man. He came here with nothing.
That's awesome, man. Stories like that, it kind of honestly, it like puts me back and makes me like realize how privileged some people are.
Sure.
From being from here, and
Sure.
it's like even with my mom, it's like I wish she would have instilled what your father instilled in you and me early, man. But anyways, we here now. You know?
Yeah.
So how long have you been? So let's see. You guys are designing, and are you crafting? Like, are you making the jewelry there?
Yeah, we do custom design, and we can do anything start to finish. So from the wax mold to the CAD design, give me a picture or a drawing, and we'll make it a piece of jewelry. Wow. So start to finish.
That's funny that you start talking about like the wax and things like that, because I was gonna say I'm not even familiar with the process fully on how it goes from start to finish. So whenever you say y'all can do start to finish, what is the process for that? Like, what does it go into?
So if you gave me like a Frontier logo, right?
Well,
yeah. Well, let's do it, man. I told you I'd love to do a piece for you. Represent the company, sponsorship.
That would be so awesome.
People collab all the time. So you give me a Frontier logo. I give it to my CAD designer, computer aided design. We put it into a software that is able to transform it 3-dimensionally or make it like a dome effect or just a flat piece, whatever you want.
So the computer design kind of is where some of the dimensions go into play, like the mathematics of the size and stuff.
Yeah, because all it sees is a picture, right? From there, we raise it, lower it, add backgrounds, do whatever, and then you say, hey, I want my piece to look like my logo truly, all set in gemstones. Or I want it with like black enamel or something like whatever you want. We can make the logo come to life as best as possible.
That's it.
So we have 3D printing technology today. Right. So we put that CAD rendering into the 3D printer. It prints out a wax mold over however many hours it needs. And then you will get a true real life rendering of what your piece will look like.
That's crazy.
Just in wax.
So how did it work before the 3D printing?
Hand carved.
No way.
Hand carved or wax mill. Like the wax mill, you're talking like 40, 50 grand for a machine like that. So not everybody could do it.
Right.
So it was a very specialty deal where you would send your files to someone who had one of these $50,000 machines and they would do it for you.
Oh, I got you. So were you guys still using the computer to design like the CAD, like you were saying? Did you guys still use that even when 3D printing wasn't popular and accessible?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, so it's a lot easier now because you
much easier. Yeah, and you're talking like $3-4 grand for a printer nowadays. Right. So everybody can do it.
It's better than 50.
Definitely, yeah.
So then what's the next step? Once you have your wax replica of like what your piece is going to look like,
Yeah,
where does it go
so
from there?
I will show you, that render, and you'll go, yes, this is it, or no, change this, So we take it, I give it to one of my jewelers or my factories, depending on how big the piece is and what kind of diamonds or stones we'll need. So I'll give it to a manufacturer, be it myself or the factories that we have overseas, and they will cast the piece through what's called a lost wax process. So they'll put the wax in an oven and burn it out over like a 15-hour period. It burns that wax out.
Okay.
And we replace it with metal.
All right. Is that the metal? Is that the material that you pick for your piece, that metal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever you want. Be it silver, gold, white gold. There's a lot of pieces being done today, gold plated with lab grown diamonds instead of just diamonds.
Yeah, I remember. I worked at Zoomies for a while, and we had Gold Gods, and I know that they do gold plated and. It's, of course, the lab grown diamonds, because it was funny because kids will come in and be like, yo, is that real? It's like this iced out little pump face.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, dude, it's $200.
Right.
Of course it's not real.
Right.
So once you pick so there's a lot that goes into it. I mean, not only do you have to get the design, but you got to pick the material you want.
Yep.
Like you're saying, if you want certain stones, I'm sure there's grades of stones, there's cuts of stones.
Yeah. And it's all, bro, at the end of the day, I ask my clients, what's the budget?
Okay.
Because I know the business.
Right.
The customer most of the time is just wanting information, so if you give me a budget, I will take your money and put it to the fullest, or build whatever I can with that money. And if there's leftover, I'll give it back, or, we'll figure out something to do with it. But
that's awesome.
The biggest thing for me is what's the budget?
Man, I mean, that makes sense, because I'm sure you get a lot of people that come in and they're like, this is what I'm envisioning, but they aren't familiar with how much it costs. And I mean, we were talking earlier about markets and how sometimes things fluctuate, like gold fluctuates. I'm sure the gems fluctuate as well.
Yeah.
So like with that process, is that where it kind of ends? You put that metal in there, and then what's next? I mean, you're talking about gems. I'm sure there's like setting.
Yeah.
Do you guys hand set every gem you guys do?
Majority of jewelers will hand set the gems. Yeah. Because there's no other way really to have them face up the same way and sit at the same level without tilting and looking weird. Because you'll see all that, when you have 3,000 diamonds in a piece, right? Which is not, it sounds like, wow, 3,000.
Are you saying it's not a lot right now?
That is not a lot,
I'm sitting here like, yo, that is crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean, your bust down Cuban links, your average bust down Cuban links is about 4,000 to 5,000 diamonds.
Jesus. Man.
Depending on sizes, obviously. But
I'm glad you said that, because my friend Ryan, he talks about Cuban links all the time, and I think it's funny. I'm gonna tell him these numbers, and he's probably gonna freak out, because he's like, bro, Cuban links kind of cost a lot.
Yeah.
So you guys are hand setting 5,000 diamonds
at a time, yeah.
Jeez.
And people take that stuff for granted. They don't think about it. They think it just comes out like this, like it just comes down from the sky, all done and ready to set. They
probably think the 3D printer is like, oh, that's not the wax. It just prints everything for me.
Yeah, and you just cast it in place. But
I mean, because you got man hours with that, and then I mean, as far as like what I saw, because whenever we were talking about the grills and stuff, there was a point where they had to like polish it, because when it came out of whatever.
Yeah, casting.
Yeah, where you guys cast it, it comes out. It doesn't look like the finished product. Right?
Never. No, it looks beat. It looks used. Like it's a thing. It just underwent like 1,800 degrees under fire.
Oh man, so it kind of looks scorched.
Absolutely.
That's and then exactly you guys gotta polish it into a piece, set these diamonds. I mean, how long does it take for like the piece that you brought up, like the Cuban link piece? How long does that usually take?
If it is handmade properly, like every single link is cast and set individually, like you cannot cast a whole Cuban link chain.
Really?
Yeah. Every piece is put together.
Is that just the Cubans that are like that, or is that like every chain?
Majority of chains are assembled.
Oh my God.
Or machine made, so, but for a good Cuban link, you want it to be handmade, individual links all set. Something like that, if you have a factory, which you're talking 20 to 30 jewelers in a room setting these things, you'll probably be able to knock it out in 4 weeks.
Because you can like assembly line.
Correct. Yeah, you got the guys who are assembling the chain, the guys who are polishing the chains, the guys who are drilling the holes for the diamonds. and then the setters, and then there's a final finish too.
That's crazy. Oh yeah, and you got to drill the holes.
You have
for
to,
diamonds.
or you can cast them with the holes already.
Which one?
But you still got to clean them out.
Which one's more like common? Drilling the holes after the fact, or
I don't know the answer to that one because I'm trying to think. Like, there's a lot of gold loss that goes into something like that.
Oh man, so you're losing gold.
When you drill, all that gold dust.
I didn't think about that.
Right? There's a lot that goes into it, man. It's a process.
Man, whenever you said gold dust right now, I mean, this is a tangent. This is my ADD. I was thinking of WCW, the old wrestler who used to paint his face. I don't know why that just popped up, but man, there's gold loss in it too.
I always think of Scarface, like a mountain of gold dust in front of you.
Right.
You pound your face in it and come up, and it's all just like.
And is that like? So when you say gold dust, that's like stuff you can't get back. It's not like you can like collect it or anything.
No, you can.
Oh, okay.
You collect it all. You send it off to a refiner at the end of your quarter or whatever, however frequent you do it, and that money can be that gold can be converted to money or more gold to reuse. So
all right, that's crazy. So there's really like almost zero waste if you're doing it carefully, right?
Should be, yeah. Like that's ideal what it should be.
I know that stuff. People are throwing away like pounds of gold.
Bro, you're talking microns, right? So at work, all my jewelers, every paper towel they wash their hands with goes into a refinery bucket.
Wow.
That's how much like that stuff is so valuable.
Right.
I
mean, it adds up. It's like, it's kind of like change turns into dollars. I guess it's the same way, right?
Yeah, you add that up. I mean, carpets, we'll turn in some like carpets or rugs from the shop or something. You'll have $10,000-$15,000 of gold in it. Just over like a 5-year period.
That was just from working.
Just from tracking it with your feet and
that's nuts.
In the air.
How does the refinery? How does that work? Do you know the process of refineries, or you just kind of ship it off?
Yeah, I ship it off, but they do explain it pretty well.
So what does a refinery do? Like, how do they get that out of napkins and stuff?
So like the gold has to start somewhere, right? We can't cast unrefined gold. There's carats of gold. So if you just take the gold from the earth and cast it, that's 24 karat gold, and it just won't work for jewelry. So the refinery comes into play, where we send off like these paper towels and these filings, and everything has a process. So like they call it the trash process, which is napkins, stuff that that is not obviously jewelry, right? Right? Like your jeans or like the jeweler's lungs when he dies or something, like,
Man. I was just thinking that myself. I mean, I just think like construction, they talk about breathing in cement dust. And I mean, you guys are breathing in
metals.
Jewelry.
Yeah.
Dang.
So they take it and they will burn it out at a very, very high, like a smelter, essentially.
Okay.
And then they will take a roller, like a giant steamroller, essentially, and just roll over it over and over again until they get the gold. So when they get that gold deposit from the napkins and things like that, they put it through a even finer refining process where all the trash is now gone. So now we need to figure out what the metals are.
Gotcha.
And it's called a SA with a ASSAY.
Oh, because there's different like microns of like gold, silver, platinum.
Yeah, it's all mixed, right?
Yeah.
So they will break it down all the way into those categories and then pay you or give you back whatever you want based on those readings.
Oh, so they'll either like keep the metal, give you cash, or they'll
reimburse you with castable metal.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. See, like, I don't think people, I mean, I know for a fact, I never thought about the full process. You're just so focused on the end result and the look that you're going for.
Yeah.
So what's like, I mean, you've been doing this for a long time, obviously. I mean, you said second
generation. Since I was in diapers, bro. Yeah, that's what I tell people.
Sounds like your dad just like was like, all right, he's born, boom, here you go. This is your job. So, I mean, with that type of legacy, and I see where the name comes from.
Yes,
now.
sir.
Nice,
yes, sir.
Nice job there.
Change the name.
So with that legacy of being a jeweler and you doing this so long, what are some of the hardships? Like, what's the hardest aspect of being an independent jeweler?
We deal a lot with the big box stores.
Like K Jewelers.
That's our biggest, like, if people knew what they knew about these chains, and we try to educate, we don't believe in trash talk. We will educate, we get the big box stores, especially here in our community. We have a very transient population because of our military. And so wherever you go, there is a box store chain, right? They're all owned by one corporation. So you have Zales, Jared's, K's, Wisefield, Hellsberg. I mean, you name it.
Oh,
they're
all part of
all
the
owned
same.
by one corporation.
That's nuts. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you got Big Brother and then big box stores underneath, right?
Wow. But also, you were saying go to a store where you can identify who owns it and who has a stake in the store.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's much better that way for you. You think about big box, okay? What do they got to pay for? They got to pay for 10 plus employees. They got to pay for the building, right?
Yeah.
They don't own the building. They don't own anything but the name. That is all that store owns.
Because they'll be in the mall sometimes too.
Correct. How much is, leasing the mall? It's got to be crazy, So they got to keep up on that overhead. They got to keep up on the employees' overhead. They don't own the jewelry outright per se.
Really?
Yeah. And all those salespeople are commission.
Okay.
And not even crazy commission. Like I hired a lady who worked at a big box store. She would make minimum wage plus 0.25% commission.
Really?
0.25%. What is that? I mean, fathom that. Like,
so it sounds like, I mean, at that point, there's really no, for them, there's like, they don't get more out of it by really caring and diving into what you want. They're more or less just like, hey, you should get this piece because I'll get this much. Or,
well, it's, car sales, right? Commission-based job. Everyone's out to just sell something. They don't look out for your interest. They don't care. At the end of the day, it's a paycheck.
Right.
I got to deal with the customer for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Because I'll be there, So I want to make sure it's best bang for the buck, and you'll be able to come back and work with me for the rest of your life for every occasion, whether it's getting married, anniversary, I love you gift, or a divorce even, Like I still want to be there for you. It happens, bro.
Man,
there's divorce gifts.
People celebrate
Ladies, they bring the rings in if they have them, and they'll go, I either need the money or F that, I want to get a piece of jewelry to celebrate my divorce.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm here for every occasion.
Oh, man, yeah. So for the fellas out there, just know you don't get that ring back. That's nuts, man.
Yeah.
So
shop local, man. I mean, it doesn't have to be through me. I don't care.
So it kind of sounds like the toughest aspect, like you're saying, is you're competing with guys who have do they have a low overhead? Is that what it is?
No, we have low overhead.
Oh, okay.
The big box has high overhead. So what you're doing is you're paying retail, absolute retail.
It's like hella taxed, is what you're saying.
For sure, for a ring or a piece of jewelry that you and 10,000 other people have across the whole U.S. Where we struggle is when you buy it from here and you move to Virginia, they got a store there. So that warranty that they sell you is good for life. And people worry about that when they buy local,
That
but
makes sense.
I guarantee it for my customers.
Oh, so you guys have your own warranty program?
Yeah, I don't sell any warranties.
Nice.
If I made the jewelry, it's guaranteed. As long as you're not skydiving and hunting and shit like that.
I was about to ask you that. I was like, what's the craziest piece of jewelry someone brought back on a warranty? Like, hey, can you help me with this?
I had a young lady who was wrestling her sister with her engagement ring on, and she misformed this ring. It was literally like a U shape, and the diamond was sticking off to the side, and she had 3 missing.
So I was like, what were y'all doing? She says wrestling.
She was wrestling her sister.
Doesn't sound like they were horsing around. If they're getting
they were going at it, bro. So what do I do?
Man, it must have been at Thanksgiving for the last turkey leg. Damn.
Yeah, right.
So I guess what's the craziest story that someone's tried to say, hey, this happened? I mean, without saying names or
No, I don't have to.
I'm just curious.
I don't know if I have any super crazy.
That might be good then. I mean, just working in retail.
People are reasonable for the most part, man. It's kind of crazy. They get it. But sometimes they come up with that wrestling thing, okay? And she'll go, but you said it was covered. And I'm like, okay. Okay. I'm going to do this once for you.
Right.
Okay.
So you got to let them know, this is a one-time thing. So don't go out wrestling more.
So.
So do you see, the trends from rap carry over to new trends for your everyday customers with jewelry? Or is it kind of where did the trends come from? Where are the influences at?
So the trends come from social media. Obviously, everything is influenced by that nowadays,
Right.
But when you have trends I mean, there are different demographics for different jewelry, When you have your hip hop jewelry, the trends are coming from rap artists, hip hop artists, DJ Khaled, putting on all his pieces with his crazy eyes. And,
yeah, I think I watched that. I forget what the episode was called. It was something on Netflix. But yeah, they're all talking about his timepieces.
Collection.
I bought this chain at this time.
Yeah. And, so those guys like Avion and Eliante and some of the big names who have all the rappers and hip hop stars, and they set a trend for what jewelry can do in that market.
Right.
Putting glow in the dark paint now around pieces and making it look like a fucking like Jolly Rancher, bro, that is jewelry now.
Yeah, I remember whenever like cartoon characters blew up and
yes,
I think it was like Gucci Mane's fault actually, because he had like the Bart Simpson chain.
Yeah,
then everybody wanted like the Garfield chain and the iced out like Stewie Griffin,
mm-hmm.
but I didn't know they were doing glow in the dark paint.
Yeah, now everything is glow in the dark. Like
that's crazy.
Schmerda, whoever he just had a piece made with glow in the dark enamel.
Huh.
Like you shut the lights off and it just is outlined Schmerda glow in the dark. So in the generation of jewelry that I grew up in and my dad grew up in, we look at stuff like this and go, what?
It's like novelty, right?
Like how is that jewelry? Like this is jewelry,
right.
To us, rings, bracelets, earrings, pendants, necklaces, like that is jewelry nowadays. But
they're icing out the weirdest shit, man.
Everything.
Like I saw some dude
hand sanitizer case,
yeah, I saw
pill bottles, Icebox just did a Jif peanut butter case.
That's ridiculous.
That was actually a dope video. You should check it out.
I'll have to. That's nuts. I think it gets to the point where you get the extremism too, where people are like, I just want to see if I can.
What else can we do? Yeah. It's like, well, shit, we've done all of these and we've mimicked all of this. So let's try this, like iced out a whole mic, they'll ice out a whole mic just like this.
That's ridiculous.
Just because they can.
So, I mean, so you're saying every jewelry style has its own lane. So you'll get some of this in questions or inquiries or even customers that want the hip hop style.
Yep.
And then you get some other ones that are more into like elegant or vintage and stuff.
Elegant, vintage, wedding jewelry, engagement jewelry, nice timepieces.
Now, is there seasons for this stuff? Like, you know how like fashion, you'll have like fall season, whatever.
Yeah. I wouldn't say, well, no, I guess you can put the seasons with the styles, Christmas time, not a lot of people are proposing. Not a lot of people are getting engaged or married during the winter time.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, engagement season for us is anywhere from January to July.
Okay.
That's when engagement ring season is.
Everyone's outside doing stuff.
Everyone's outside, they're about to propose in 2 months, 3 months, or next week, or some of us guys who really plan,
of course, wedding season, I get that.
Yeah.
What kind of pieces usually sell? Like you're saying Christmas, no one's getting married, but I see all the commercials for like bracelets and shit.
Yeah, there's small gifts, diamond gifts that you can just give. How do I?
It sounds like it just fluctuates a lot.
It's just so, bro. The whole market is just. I don't even know how to explain it. Like it feels like it's just all a facade. You know what I mean?
Not
like,
really.
Do you really have to buy jewelry?
Oh, okay. I
for
get
Christmas?
what you're saying.
It
seems like it's
I might be trash talking my own industry, but everything is so commercialized. You know,
I don't think you're trash talking jewelry. I think it goes into kind of like just society around holidays and how we're really big on just consume.
I guess it's consumerism. Yeah, there you go. I couldn't think of
Halloween
the word.
Halloween is the next one, man. Next one. So you got Black Friday is a really big one that pushes people to buy stuff. Christmas and of course summer sales and stuff. But Halloween, like people are buying hella decorations. You see memes about decorations. Yeah. Somebody bought some Halloween jewelry. Like specifically, there's a line of jewelry that I saw on commercials, and I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, for a whole day. Like, really? Like, okay, you're going to go to maybe like a week of Halloween celebrations.
I don't know. They're celebrating that shit now. It's not even September, and people are already like buying Halloween.
The spirit store's up already.
Yeah, they open like early August. So I'm saying I think Halloween is that next give it 5-10 years, we're gonna have like some weird Black Friday, Halloween,
Yeah.
blowout sale for decorations and costumes.
There's a fucking day for everything anymore, man. It was just National Dog Day, National Donut Day, Pizza Day.
That shit was crazy.
You know what I mean?
There's a few of them that I like though, because there was one that was like National Booty Pick Day.
There you go.
You know, that was nice.
There you go.
I sent a couple booty pics to some girls. I don't know if they.
Yeah, why does it have to be one way?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be at all.
You can reciprocate.
I got y'all. So we were talking before this, and we had a really, I think, an insightful conversation.
We're all over the map, bro. But
hey,
I'm enjoying it.
It is what it is. So like you said, besides fashion, as far as influences, there's like other worldly influences that can be going on. So like, I think you were talking about wartime and peacetime, and I'm sure there's like, recession, non-recession, whatever. Yeah. What are some other like outside influences that tend to, I wouldn't say fluctuate the market, but tend to like affect it,
Like you just highlighted, wartime, peacetime, really like those drive the market like crazy. You'll notice almost whatever stocks are doing, metals and diamonds are doing the opposite. They have no direct correlation, so when you buy like gold stocks, those are cool, but you have a piece of paper that says you own X amount of dollars in gold, That's
weird.
So if gold took a shit tomorrow, you don't have anything in the gold stock market. But if you actually own gold, you're okay, We go back to the horse trading days where you cut a piece of gold for.
Everyone talks about like, the friends that I have that are woke, that are like, talking about investing. Yeah. They're always talking about buying gold.
Precious metals.
We see even during a recession, you'll see like the rates of loans and money's dropping, or you got to pay more. But it sounds like even though there's outside influences that might fluctuate the market as the price of like gold and stuff, it doesn't seem to be what gold's doing. It's more what the money is doing.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what's that piece of paper worth at the end of the day?
I mean, now it's nothing.
Right. So, I joke with all my customers who buy like these big, just solid gold Cuban links and stuff. Like, oh, good. You'll be able to buy bread in like 5 years, like I'm just talking crap. But
I don't know, man. We ran out of toilet paper during quarantine. They couldn't even get that if they wanted to.
I have a weird story about that, but I won't go into it right now.
I might have to get that at the
end. I don't know if I should even share it, but
fair enough.
So wartime, peacetime, those are big influencers on market. Import and exportation of goods.
Oh yeah, like those tariffs they were doing. Does that affect
tariffs? Not so much on us. Okay. There's ways around it. Loophole. You always find a way.
Yeah, don't give us the cheat codes.
Yeah, I can't. But we're not doing like mass production overseas. Where we're getting pieces every week from overseas. So you're able to kind of go around them and go to different countries to avoid the tariffs to make it back here.
Got you. Okay. Because they only put them. It seems like the main tariff everyone was talking about recently is the one on China.
Yeah. Even. They were talking about it.
Yeah, man. So. A lot of companies, independent companies. I was actually still at Dime Bags as the director of sales, and so I'm calling these smoke shops and dispensaries trying to sell in bulk, and we don't have anything.
Yeah.
The factories got all shut down and the prices changed. So yeah, man. So you guys were unaffected in the jewelry world with that tariff specifically?
The tariff didn't influence us at all.
Okay.
COVID.
Oh shit.
Took a shit.
Yeah.
On everything. And it's been a good scapegoat for a lot of companies,
My phone thought we were talking to it. We said, oh shit, and it popped up. So, I mean, like with COVID, was that just because people weren't spending, or is that because...
No, on the business side, it was the best thing that happened.
That's nuts. Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, I'm sure Dime Bags and some other entities you work with and stuff did
Some people were thriving and some were trying to survive.
Yeah, that's the thing, bro. You either made it or you didn't. That was kind of where this took people.
I mean, if it wasn't for COVID, we wouldn't even, none of this would be here. So
right?
COVID like helped us open.
So there you go. That's right. Nice. It helped you in a way. So exportation and importation of goods, what I was talking about before, our administration now being like the government just stopped all importation of goods from Afghanistan.
Oh, recently? Because of what?
Yes.
Oh shit.
So no more gems.
So that's what was coming out of there is like
Rubies, sapphires, and emeralds are one of the top coming from the Pakistan, Afghanistan, India region.
That makes sense.
So now they got to figure out how to get them from Afghanistan to Pakistan or India and get them back here.
So they got to either get them to a different country that can take them.
Yep.
And oh man.
Yeah. So ruby, sapphire, emeralds, those gemstones that come into that region of the world, wait, they're going to skyrocket here in a minute.
Oh man.
Because of the, what do they call them? Embargoes.
Yeah.
Like where they cannot import them.
Damn, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
In that way, that's nuts.
Yeah.
So as a businessman, it's like you can kind of see. All right, well, since this, I mean, it seems like some of them are not all of them. Some of them are political, some of them are not. But you can kind of see like, all right, well, since that happened, this is going to fluctuate this price.
Yeah.
Do you guys see that with like natural disasters too? I mean, like if there's an earthquake or a tsunami somewhere.
Yeah, it can stop.
Thing.
I mean, COVID was, you could relate it to a natural disaster, you know. It just affected every country in the world instead of one specific one, Yeah. So
it's like a delayed reaction.
Yeah, mines are going to collapse. Workers are going to die. Stuff like that just stops,
That's nuts.
Or something completely out of our control, even worse than natural disasters. Not worse, but more extreme that you don't think of. The earth stops producing.
Oh, so like the mines kind of run out of the resources.
Tanzanite, one of the biggest. Tanzanite and alexandrite are some of the biggest, most expensive gemstones in the world.
I have to look those up. I don't think I've ever seen those.
Yeah, they're beautiful, bro. If you come over, I'll show you at the store. Because of the supply and demand and lack of mines, all done. So that drives the price.
Yeah, so now they're kind of like on some collectible rare gems, kind of hard to get.
Yeah,
man.
Uncut gems.
Yeah, so what kind of happened with that? The movie came out. Did you see anything happen in your market?
Nothing at all.
Sometimes that sometimes that happens.
I tried to pigtail or like coattail off of it and ride into it somehow, but bro, the industry, unless you know New York and you know that industry in New York, people aren't going to get it. They just think it's Adam Sandler getting
like, oh, it's a movie. This is cool.
Yeah, he has his gambling addiction, his booty addiction, and a bullet in the head.
Man, it was a great movie.
It was good. It was level 10 the whole time.
Well, it's funny though. I hated the movie until the end. I literally kept looking over at I was watching it with my baby mama, and I kept looking over, and I was like, this movie fucking sucks. I was like getting pissed. And then it ended. I was like, if it ended any other way, that movie would have sucked. This was the greatest movie of all time.
Right. And it might be good to those in the industry,
right? Because
we get it, we understand it. KG has this opal from that's worth fucking millions of dollars. I
thought it was so weird that Kevin Garnett was in it. Man.
Right,
out of all people, I was like, what the fuck?
Well, even nobody realized this, and not even me. My wife told me, she's like, isn't that the guy that was in Uncut Gems? I was showing her a jeweler's video on Instagram. He was calling out like Scott Disick and all the celebrities and stuff like that because they fucked him over real bad in New York. Trax NYC. Have you heard of him?
Yeah. Actually.
He was in Uncut Gems.
Oh, he was. Yeah, he was.
I didn't even know that at all.
I think he had an issue with 6ix9ine. Yeah. Okay. That's crazy.
Yeah. So she's like, "Isn't that the guy that was in Uncut Gems?"
Like
and I'm like,
jeweler.
I don't associate him with movies, Right. I'm like, this guy's a jeweler, a big ass jeweler in New York who knows his shit, who's highly respected in the community, or not because of how much he puts people on blast, But
I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of like that's what is, whenever you're your own boss, you're an independent company, you kind of get to that point where you're like, all right, I can do this customer service thing, or I can literally be like, hey, I don't need you, I got other people.
For sure.
But I mean, it sounds like. It sounds like with so much, I wouldn't even say ignorance, just lack of knowledge in that community as far as from you being a manufacturer, designer, a businessman, business owner, me just being a regular consumer. There's a lot of misunderstanding in between here. And it's like, it's how well do you educate your customers from that point? Because even everything you're talking about now, I'm learning a lot. I had no idea.
Oh, that's good.
And so I think that's what it comes down to is like, most of us that are everyday people that don't deal with jewelry on this scale, it's like we don't know all of this shit.
Happening. And I don't mind educating, bro, at all. Where we get to it and where I sometimes have to remember my customer service side instead of like pulling out my tracks side, I'll call it, is when people will challenge me for something that I'm giving them. Gotcha. And, someone can always do it better. Mm-hmm. That's what I've learned in this business. Whether it's true or not, they can always do it better. I know that someone can do it better, or you're telling me as a customer that some guy can do it better for less. Okay.
At that point, you're kind of like, all right, cool, go.
That's all I got to say. Yeah, what am I going to do? Pull teeth to get a sale?
Right.
You'll come back. You will come back. I promise.
You see it in the tattoo world. I mean, obviously, I can speak a lot on tattoos.
Yeah.
But I see that happen where, they'll hit up an artist and be like, oh, you're out of my budget. And what it comes down to is, maybe the customer doesn't have the money for what they want. And it's like, dude, just save your fucking money and come back a couple months later, get the piece you actually want.
And it's quality. You know what you're getting. You've seen the work. My dad raised me in a certain way. And it was, if you can't afford it, you don't buy it.
Right.
Right? Like, so, I mean, it's not like even a brought up thing. It's just common sense.
Yeah.
Don't try to I got mouths to feed, I'm a independent jeweler. I don't have just boatloads to sit on and go, fuck you.
Right. You gotta have
I'm gonna be as competitive as I can and help you out as much as I can, So don't think I'm gonna just try to get you on every piece. Right. I'm not maximizing my profits, and I'm gonna try to help you out as best as I can.
I wonder if they kind of feel that from those big boxes, because you're saying that they, whenever because they're reselling collections, right? They're like buying collections from jewelers, reselling them. So then you got to make $1 off the dollar you spent.
Yeah, and that's business, bro. Right. I mean, they think I'm going to give you this shit at cost. No, that's not how businesses stay open.
Right. Like, why would I spend $2, charge you $2? It's like, I'll fucking pay my bill.
They'll take the piece somewhere, and the jeweler gives them a scrap price. Like, this is what this piece would be if I melted it down and gave you money for the gold and the diamonds. Then they come back to me, bro, you got me. No, bro, I did not. Like, oh man, it's a business, man. Right. I custom made this piece. What you paid for was materials, labor, and profit.
I mean, even you're talking about those Cuban links that have more than
5,000 diamonds, bro.
Yeah, that's another.
Those diamonds cost money. Jewelers charge you. Like, my jewelers that work for me charge me to set every diamond.
Right. I mean, that makes sense.
Right. So multiply whatever times 5,000. That adds up,
bro. So
that's why we and a lot of other jewelers do overseas manufacturing anymore, because you can get away with 4 or 5 cents on a diamond.
That's nuts.
Versus stateside over here, $8 to $10 per stone. $8 to $10 to set 5,000 diamonds versus 4 cents.
Right.
Where am I going to go?
That makes sense though, because it's like, so you guys are known in the community. You said filling in your dad's shoes. I mean, do you have pressure on yourself, like even internally, that you're like, all right, he's got it to this point. I took it over. I have a goal of where I want to take it.
Always, yeah. I mean, it's his baby at the end. But I have goals for myself too, and places where I want to be. He only took it so much,
right?
And it worked for him for X amount of years. That doesn't work for me because we're in a different generation today. Yeah. We're in a different society. People are jewelry is different, like we just talked about. Yeah. So the money's different, the game is different, and the technology is so evolutionary. That, with the lab grown diamonds, like they're legit diamonds, but they're just made in a lab.
So you don't have to wait for the, like the pressure and
you don't have to wait for any of that. They're literally developed the same way. High pressure, high temperature.
But you're not out there mining them.
You're not mining them. People aren't dying over it.
Right.
Earth is not getting messed up over it. Blood diamonds hurt the industry for a while.
Right.
Conflict-free diamonds, aka lab-grown diamonds, are the best thing to have ever probably happened to the industry. For those of us who have that natural industry, it hurt us a little bit. But you just evolve with the business, you start investing in lab grown stuff like that, bringing it on board.
So you're kind of investing in, you have both for both markets.
Yeah. So lab grown wasn't a thing when my dad was in the business. It was gold and diamonds. Like you paid all of these pieces that are being made today for 6'9" and blah, blah, blah.
Like the baby and all
that. Yeah. All of that is most likely gold or gold plated silver with lab grown diamonds.
It's definitely hollow. Because whenever they're
the backs are ting 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 yeah because you're gonna have 5,000 grams of gold, and I don't care who you are. You know, Gucci Mane has nice pieces. Yeah, he's got a freaking rock as an engagement ring. Like,
I'm just thinking of the weight, even just walking around with that on your neck all the time.
It's just not feasible.
Besides the cost, I'm just like, that's the other thing is I've learned this about just people in the hip hop industry. We're talking about hip hop jewelry. Is a lot of these guys get this shit on credit. Like, they're in there with stacks. You know, handing it to Johnny Dang.
It's all flex.
That money was a loan that they just got. You know,
yeah, that or it's a flex, and they work a sponsorship with the jeweler. That's why like Trax just blew up Scott Disick. Scott was like, I like these pieces. I want them custom made. Trax makes them, sends it. He goes, yeah, I'll blast you guys. I'll hook you guys up. Didn't say a fucking word about Trax.
Oh, man.
Trax was like, okay.
He was like, that was part of the deal.
Game on. You know?
That's nuts.
So for 4 days, he was just eating Scott Disick alive about how we promised this, you did this, all on social media, and we got nothing.
I remember he did that with 6ix9ine, dude. Like I was saying, it was over some bracelet, some Cuban link that he ended up cutting into a bracelet.
Yeah.
And it was like the same thing.
Yeah.
What's some advice you have to people? I would say like field specific. What are some advice you have for people when it comes to buying jewelry, or even if it's just like advice for etiquette whenever they're buying jewelry? And then also just as a business owner, what's some advice you have for like young entrepreneurs?
Etiquette for buying jewelry, I'm not even going to go into.
Because you're like, we could be here all day.
Well, bro, everyone is their own person.
Right.
You know, do your homework. Do a little bit of homework before you come in. That's my etiquette. I mean, I don't mind educating people. That's why I don't have like you're a dumbass or I don't care.
But not everyone's set up like you though, because like maybe someone comes in uneducated and they're just like, oh, I can fucking wax this person.
For sure. And that's big box for you.
So do your research. Is kind
do
of
homework. You know, know what you're getting into. You know, it doesn't hurt. Don't go and buy stuff online. Like you will never.
That's great advice.
8 out of 10 times you won't get what you bought.
Yeah, it looks so good in that picture, man.
Yeah, and refunds. Good luck. You know what I mean?
I've seen some things like I had some weird. You know, whenever you start talking to your friends about engagement. Like I'm probably gonna see a shitload of engagement rings on my Instagram now that we talked about it.
For sure. Yeah, they're listening.
And there was some that like it looked really nice, but then it would say it was like $80, and I was like,
what's going on?
Yeah, like why is it so cheap? And then when I looked at it closer, it looked like a 3D image of what the item was.
It's just a render, yeah.
Right. So I mean, you even saying like the whole process of rendering it, it's like,
I can straight up take a rendering and put it on my Instagram, and you would think it was it. All day
because it's all high def.
Yeah, and you'll be able to see little, if you know the tech world, you'll be able to be like, okay, no, that's bullshit. My goal is to help you seek or find that guidance. You come to me with what you want, I'm going to show you what it is, and that's why the budget thing again is so important. You don't know what that piece is going to cost,
right?
But you also don't know what it could buy you.
Yeah,
like $3,000 to $5,000 for an engagement ring nowadays is beyond enough.
Yeah, but I mean, you get the K jewelers and the Zells like you're talking about. They make it sound like, oh, that's average. That's like mid-shelf.
Well, you got that 3 paychecks thing you hear all the time. It's got to be 3 paychecks.
I was like, hell no.
Your 3 paychecks are different than his 3 paychecks, than her 3 paychecks. Who knows? Who on the street is going to walk up to you and go, that's not,
he spent
what is that?
What the fuck?
No one knows that shit except me.
Right.
I'm going to be the only judgy motherfucker at a restaurant who's going to sit across the room and go, that shit is from K's. Or that
shit
love
you.
And that's when my card comes in on the table. That whole stigma of you need to spend this to tell her you love her, and it's all bullshit. Be within your comfort range. Anyone will work with you if they're reasonable,
So I mean, that's kind of like you get to break that stigma. They come in with these weird expectations that society puts on them, and you're like, hey, dude, you don't have to do that.
Yeah, I need a 1 carat diamond. No, you don't. A 0.98 carat diamond will suffice just enough instead of a whole 1 carat, because that price difference is about $2,000
Oh shit!
for
Just for
0.02 of a carat.
Is it because it like? I mean, it sounds like
It's
it kind
different
of.
pricing brackets.
Yeah, it takes it out of a bracket. That's what it sounded like.
Well, a conventional engagement ring is supposed to be 1 carat. So the diamond industry took that standard and taxed it. They said people are going to buy 1 carats like you won't believe.
Because we said so.
So let's make it this much more than a 0.98 or a 0.99.
Wow.
Right? Another one.
Dropping all the cheat codes. Well, not all of them, but he's dropping the cheat codes.
I'll help, man. Anything I can do. That it's no skin off my back.
Well, it just shows you're genuine too, man. Like, you stand
straight
behind what
shooter.
you mean.
Gotta be.
What is the address to the brick and mortar? Because you have a store here in town.
I do, yeah. It's 1111. That's 1111.
That's easy to remember.
Yeah. 1111 East Fillmore Street.
East Fillmore. Is that close to like Nevada area?
Mhm.
Like Fillmore,
Exactly.
Nevada?
It's just east of Nevada.
Hey, so everyone that goes to Vasa Fitness over there, because I know y'all do, pop in, check out Legacy Jewelers, check them out. And so, I mean, I have your Instagram on there. Is there like also an email people can hit for quotes or anything? Or is it better to come in?
Just hit it on Instagram. That's probably the best way to do it.
Oh, so you have all the info on the Instagram as well.
For sure. Yeah.
Perfect, man.
Instagram, Facebook, Google, check out our reviews. Nothing is paid for. It's all genuine follows, all genuine reviews.
Thanks for coming by again. You guys make sure you check his stuff out. Anyone that wants to get their music heard or want to submit your music back to the People Radio, hit us up. Make sure you guys check out Legacy and Co. Jewelers. My man Dan will hook you up.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no problem, brother.
Baby, I told you, I am the one, I am chosen. I pull up, shine, she on my line. I hit that once, I can do that twice. Don't waste my time, money on my mind. I do my thing, I'm in my prime. I pull up, shine, she on my line. I hit that once, I can do that twice. Don't waste my time, money on my mind. I do my thing, I'm in my prime. 2-piece with a biscuit meal. Flip that yeast to the tris get real. No cheese in the fridge, but a fifth of the whiskey warm, but I'm cold with a still. So your thoughts ain't paying my bills. Bring your tone on the phone, you trill. But if I put it in your dome when you're home alone, the pig not the only bitch that squeals. Cut the grass for the snake.